It's time to play the show. The bell has rung, and that big show might be over, but it's time for us to bring wrestling information you can enjoy with the match predictions, analysis, the ups and downs of professional wrestling, all reaction, some beverage drinking to bring you Logic on Tap with your good brothers. It's time for you to look into the eyes of Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder on Beer, Blues, and BS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special wrestling review episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that usually has something clever to say here, but yeah.
Has it been one of those weeks?
It's just been one of those days, Kidder. It's been one of those days.
Unfortunately, we don't have a shirt for that.
Yeah, so future Howard, insert something clever back a little bit. He's not going to do it. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Well, you know, my brother from another mother, I'm doing great, and the reasoning why I'm doing great just went to WWE Saturday night's main event at the Bismarck Event Center. Sat through it, had some ups, had some downs, had some beer, and some good times. And now I'm here with you. We get to continue this good, fun, happy pain train, as it were, into this here review video. And before I ask you what's on tap or what's happening or what's going on, of course, like everyone who's watching this, to please subscribe to our channel. Whether you're watching the video version or listening to the audio version, we'd love for you to subscribe, like us on Facebook, and visit our website, beerbluesbs.com, for everything Triple B related. beerbluesbs.com. A quick, cheap plug to throw out right at the beginning of the show. Howard Blues, are you thirsty?
I could use a beverage.
Fantastic. What are you drinking?
Well, Kidder, because it's late and I'm tired and it's been a day, I just have some brisk iced tea.
He's going with the brisk again, baby.
Yeah. But to make this interesting, Kidder, because I was at a wedding and the food was okay. I will also be enjoying some lovely Reese, like the Reese's Pieces dipped pretzels. As I sit here.
Very classy.
So, yeah, so drink and snacks.
Well, I'm glad that I thought you were choking on one for a second there. I didn't know if I was going to have to laugh, get out of the chair, and get up there, or call 911. So I'm glad none of that was happening. Let's see. Let's open the Triple B fridge this evening. Run on in here too. I think lemonade would be all right. Actually, you know what? This year is one of them there shows that we're doing where don't necessarily need to debut something new. So what I am having tonight, continuing the theme from the day, is a Bloody Mary. This one being the Zing Zang Bloody Marys. I picked up some more. These are 9% alcohol by volume, and it is made with vodka. It's award-winning Bloody Mary mix. A little spicy, if you like the spicy Bloody Marys. And visit them online at zingzang.com for more information. Put this in the handy-dandy Avalanche Stanley Cup Championship koozie and pop this open. All right, so as I'm getting this prepared, getting ready to roll, I know you didn't necessarily have a good day, but I want to share my day with you and hopefully make it a little better as we talk about some wrestling here. Ended up spending some time at the local establishment Lucky's 13 Pub in Bismarck today. Had some breakfast, had some beverages, including Bloody Marys, and played some bingo. Yes, it was really the quadruple B earlier today. Stayed there for a while, picked up the tickets for Saturday night's main event, and then went next door to another establishment you may have heard of, Sidelines, for another couple hours and had a couple more beverages, and then went across the street again, back to the event center for WWE's Saturday night's main event. Didn't get the huge packages that they had available. They had 2 packages where you could have the ramp experience, where you could have an entrance, have your 5 minutes of fame, as it were. Kind of like the video that we had talked about before from WrestleMania 30, where there was the experience at WrestleMania Access. Again, I wasn't there, so I didn't see everything involved with that, but looked like it, or sounded like it would have been fun. There's also another tier above that for about $540 a ticket with the Superstar experience, where you get to hang out with the superstars a little bit, or a superstar, photograph, autograph, that sort of thing. And you get the other experience with the entrances and whatnot. The entrances package was like $430. So,
I just want to throw out there, Kidder. One of our archaeologists who attended the show actually had one of those packages and got an autograph from Bailey. So,
wow.
And a photo and such. So, yeah.
Very surprising with the heel that Bailey is right now. But I guess that's how it goes. Good for him. I don't know if I saw him, but I saw a lot of things. It was a good show. And we'll get to that. First, if you had the time and the cash, where would you have chosen to sit for this? Because they have the bleachers, you know, the elevated seating. There's the floor in the various portions of the arena. And then, of course, the closer and the more expensive packages like those 2 that I just described. If you had the time, you had the ability, you had the cash. I mean, what would you prefer?
I would be sitting in the elevated section. Not like the far nosebleeds, but just kind of up off the floor, because then you can see everything. Because I have been to these house shows with you and have been on the floor and such, and you can see most of the stuff, but there are times where, stuff is happening on the far side of the ring and you can't see it. And so I prefer to be up a little bit, so I can see everything. That said, when you do that, you do lose out on the experience of being able to interact and sometimes hear the wrestlers yell back at you and such and that. So that's kind of the trade-off. I mean, but I think I would prefer to sit up a little bit higher and see. I have sat in the way nosebleeds for one of the shows, and that was okay. But yeah,
just not as fun. Way up there. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It's not like the Bismarck Event Center is so large that, like, when you're sitting up in the nosebleeds, you're like, who's that speck in the ring? You still can see everything. It's just it loses some of the grandiose. I'm late in words. It just doesn't feel like, I know it's a house show and it's not like it's one of the big shows, but when you are closer, it can be more immersive and you feel like it's a bigger thing. When you're kind of way up in the back and you just kind of see how dinky the ramp is and the pyro and all of that, it kind of comes off very amateurish almost. So it loses some of that professionalism when you sit that far away in a house show. That makes sense.
Sure.
Who knows? Howard is tired. He spent most of his day at different events. The fact that I'm even having somewhat cohesive thought, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll call that a win.
Yeah. I mean, that's a word. Yeah. Cohesive things, getting things together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. I suppose we've wasted enough time and maybe we should actually discuss tonight's show, huh?
Yeah, probably. I'd like to go to bed at some point.
Okay. Well, the good thing about this is it won't be as long as one of our regular shows. The bad news is it's not as short as one of the teaser clips. All right. So, just basic notes of the arena, the show, etc. The tickets that I picked up were ringside seats. They even opened up some last-minute seats and had some very decent pricing on those aforementioned seats. And so they weren't $150, $250, $430, $530 to sit that close. Good on them for doing that. Wish I had, been able to see those initially. Anyway, a few other people were in attendance tonight as well at various points of the arena, including NDWF General Manager Mike Erickson, and Z was also there, and several other members of our collective group. So big shout out to them. Hello, everyone who was there that I didn't get a chance to say hello to in person. The other thing is their set that they now have for the house shows, like the smaller house shows like ours. Very, very good. I definitely enjoy the set. It looks almost like the one that you see on television. So big video board, and it blends in with the actual area where they come out of the back, the tunnel gorilla area, if you will, and the ramp and around. They also had the old school barricades with the WWE sheaths around them, so you could be up close and personal to the action, which some of the photos will show as we get into that. Also note that tonight's show is a Raw branded show. They played the Raw intro before they really started going with the show. Another note is that Byron Saxton was here once again. I was really hoping to get a moment with him to record a quick video. And hey, Saxton, how does it feel when the other commentators tell you to shut up all the time? And then as he starts explaining, shut up, Saxton. But I didn't get a chance to do that. Let's see. What else can I say? The attendance was pretty good. Could have been better, but overall, I thought it was very good. So, as they say, let's get it on. It is time for the main event. Your first match, a tag team match. This for the WWE Unified Tag Team Championships, featuring the Usos and Alpha Academy.
Now, Kidder, I haven't been really watching the product,
Okay.
but isn't Alpha Academy a heel tag team?
Yeah.
So this was
very much so.
what? So this was a heel versus the heel.
Yep.
Championship match.
Yep. We're starting off the show on the right foot.
So who did you cheer in this particular situation? Because
nobody. I booed everybody, including Saxton.
Okay. Good to know.
I, of course, had to choose the Usos.
Are we doing predictions on this, Kidder? Because this seems like a stupid show to do predictions on.
It kind of is, but we might as well. This would have been a good one for the chip challenge.
Oh boy. I'm gonna say it's the Usos because they're not gonna do a title change in Bismarck, North Dakota. That's not where this is gonna happen.
It would be pretty funny though, because there have been, I don't know, like 2 title changes at house shows in history.
Yeah, but those were both kind of, they needed to happen. It was kind of a, we need to get this off to make the next thing work. So, yeah. They try not to do that though. Except for when they would really want to sell tickets at the house shows, because there's nothing better than saying, look what happened at a house show, this is why you should attend, because you never know what's going to happen.
It's very true, very true. So this one was pretty funny because Alpha Academy came out first after Byron Saxton announced that it was a tag team match for the Unified Tag Team Championships, which was kind of a surprise. Most of the matches, in fact, and most of the wrestlers who were here was a surprise because there was very little information put out about who would actually be attending, which is very annoying because in the past you go to the WWE website and they have all the matches on there and you can take screenshots and whatnot and share for instances just like this. But here we go. Alpha Academy came out first, and Otis happened to be very close to my position because, of course, the heels are in that corner, typically the camera close corner, which is where we were. And I yelled, Otis, Otis. And he, looked over at me and I said, where's Tucker? And he goes, he's at home where he belongs. And then I told him he needed to bring back heavy machinery and do the caterpillar. It just kind of went sideways from there. Usos came out. They got a pretty big pop. Cheers and boos. Actually, both of the teams got cheers and boos, depending on what point of the match it was. Chad Gable very, very much doing everything that he could to get some cheap heat, including, they were just in Canada for SmackDown yesterday and in Winnipeg, in fact. And they're talking about when they flew in and, they're happy to be back in the U.S. and U.S. And then he says, well, until I learned that I had to be here in Bismarck, North Dakota. Cheap heat. Right away. So they got everything rolling, and it was pretty good back and forth. There was a lot of that cheap heat mentality for the match. The Usos running back and forth with Alpha Academy, and it was a pretty balanced match. It wasn't completely one way or another. A little bit of crowd interaction as well by getting thrown out to the ringside area, and a couple big spots as well, including the classic shooting gum which happened a few different times throughout the night. And of course, after a good, I suppose, 12 minutes or so, the winners and still champions, I don't know how they pulled it off, the Usos. So that was pretty good. Next match. This was somewhat interesting to me because now they're running a program with Austin Theory and KO. They've run a couple teasers, I suppose you could say, within the programming, but as you know, the live programs are where they debut things and do what they can to see if people like it, if the wrestlers can work together, have that flow, those sorts of things. So Austin Theory came out first. We booed. We yelled at him. Everything that needs to happen. And of course, KO heading down to the ring. I, of course, pick KO because it's the KO show.
You know who I'm going to pick. Of course, I'm going to pick Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is one of the best acts to see live because he does a great job of interacting with the crowd. Like, it is guaranteed that he will shout something at somebody at some point. So love me some Kevin Owens. So I'm hoping he's going to win.
So this one, yes, very good. I mean, I love watching Kevin Owens work. Great matches. A lot of back and forth, and he really plays into that. And you can, of course, then tell how he's selling things and creates that match story. Did the classic KO moves, gets the stunner, ends up, throughout the match, hitting the stunner and blasting Austin Theory into next year and getting the pin for the 1, 2, 3. And, of course, your winner, KO. Very nice. Good. Yes. Then KO took a few minutes I should say a minute, not a few minutes, to celebrate and cheer at the fans and come on around. As he was celebrating, well, I happened to high five Kevin Owens as he came running by. Wish he would have slowed down, had enough time for a picture, because how awesome would that have been? A photo with KO. Maybe someday in the future.
Yeah, it would, but they tend to be, they tend to get out of there pretty quick. Because a lot of times when they're doing these road shows, like, he's going to go to the back, he's going to shower. As soon as whoever he's riding with is done, they're on the road, heading to the next town.
We'll have more on that later. Next, lights go out. Suddenly, Jefferson Airplane starts playing over the speakers. And it's not the full song. It's just the vocal track. Very interesting. And they play essentially the whole chorus of said song. Most of the diehard people are well in tune. And of course, on this show, Triple B, we try and keep you informed with the latest wrestling and everything else of information that is interesting to us. And we've discussed that on a couple different episodes. So the diehard WWE fans are pretty sure that it is Bray Wyatt who they're teasing, who will be coming to Extreme Rules next weekend. And so everybody who, again, is familiar, putting their flashlights up, lighters, fireflies are out. So they played through that for a good minute and a half. Then, quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set? And of course, what do I do when the Titantron lights up and the words show up in front of you? I say awful, like I have for the past 12 plus years. Yes, The Miz is in the house. He comes out. It's Miz TV. And he starts spitting and spewing about it's Bismarck and we need to be quiet. And Bismarck doesn't deserve The Miz's talent. Definitely does not deserve a match from The Miz. This and that. Goes on for, a few minutes. And just as he's pretty much getting ready to go, Titantron hits, and Dolph Ziggler is in the house, everybody. Dolph Ziggler comes on down to the ring and gets on in the ring, grabs a microphone, and basically tells him, suck it up. You're being dumb and this and that. Hey, we should have a match. Okay. So they have a nice 12-minute match. And I picked Dolph Ziggler.
I don't know. Just to be disagreeable, I'll choose The Miz.
Is it because he's awesome?
No, it's just the two of them can have a good match together. And they're good friends in real life. I couldn't tell you, like, story-wise or anything like that, who should win. It's not as easy as, hey, it's the Usos and they're not going to change the titles. I just don't know. So, as I said, for drama's sake, I'll choose The Miz. So
It's some very
I can
good
flip
drama.
a coin if that makes you feel better.
Whatever, man. It's your coin. It's your pick, your choice. All right. Again, a little over 12 minutes. Nice back and forth. Really, the opportunity for each of these matches has been for each of the wrestlers to get in all of their signature moves, which is nice because there is that back and forth. As you mentioned, Dolph Ziggler and The Miz have really worked together and opposite of each other for quite some time now. And so they put on a really good match. And of course, you have to remember that The Miz was in a program for a bit with Maryse, his wife, in which the crowd at that specific live event, which was, I believe, a Raw show, began chanting as a result of the discussion in the ring, Miz has tiny balls, or more specifically, tiny balls. Tiny balls. Well, it continued tonight. So we got some of that action. It was pretty good. Miz played off of that and he was yelling at the audience. It was really good. That's another reason why I enjoy going to these smaller shows, because you get that chance to see the wrestlers interacting with the crowd on more of a one-on-one basis versus a Raw SmackDown show or a pay-per-view show. So sorry. Premium live event. I apologize. Because they're very timed, very scripted, if you will. You have your time for your match. You can't specifically go and yell at people because you're on TV, you gotta focus, this and that, and you're done. So these smaller shows like this, it's really an opportunity to get involved with the fans. Well, couple huge moves and counters and back and forth, and Dolph Ziggler hits the zigzag. 1, 2, 3, the roll up, and there it is. Dolph Ziggler, your winner over Mike the Miz Mizanin.
Shucks.
Should have put the chip on the line. Next, they showed some videos and photos and whatnot. Of course, as WWE does, they have the ability to hashtag the specific event. So this is WWE Bismarck. You submit your tweets, Instagram posts, and Facebook posts with that hashtag, and then the social media conglomeration comes together into their graphical form and shows you up on the screen. And yes, I got up there on 3 different times because I'm the man, the myth, the legend, of course. As we continue on, the next match is getting promoted, and away we go. Music hits. It's R-Truth. I miss that guy. I've been wondering where he's been. Wondering if he's still employed. I'm happy to see that he's still there. Good. He did his whole rap coming out too. High-fiving the kids and everything all the way around. What's up? What's up? What's up? To which I, of course, sent a photo of said individual, R-Truth, with the caption, "Who's that? Who's that?" to a certain Dinosaur McNally. Of course, the reason we did that is as a joke going back 12 to 15 years, talking about R-Truth when he would come out and he goes, "What's up?" and then puts the mic up into the air for the crowd to fill it in. We would go, "Who's that? Who's that?" Just because a couple of those times we actually couldn't tell from the camera angles who it was. And I mean, by the music, it was funny. You had to be there. Then the next music hits because, again, they didn't promote any of the matches beforehand except for 4 matches. And 2 of them were completely wrong, but had people from the other matches. This individual, not included on any of those matches either, and it was Shelton Benjamin. Yes, the original Shelton Benjamin returns. I was disappointed I didn't have an opportunity to ask him if he was going to ever bring back the silver frosted hair that he had for a while, to make him look like Cisco, i.e. the thong song. Very sad I missed that opportunity. But Shelton Benjamin and R-Truth. R-Truth also was on the microphone and said that he dedicated this match to his childhood hero. And Howard Blues, do you remember who that is?
Isn't it John Cena?
It certainly is, because you can't see him. I, of course, pick R-Truth. Little Jimmy was not in attendance either. I don't know what Little Jimmy was up to.
Yeah, I'm going to take R-Truth too.
Very good. Good choice. So this was a good match. R-Truth even put in several John Cena moves. In fact, pretty much 4 of the 5 moves of Doom. So that was good. Got the crowd into it. Did the sections of the what's up, what's up. Very good. Of course, Shelton Benjamin and his amateur wrestling background and having been in the business for a good 20 years now, knows how to wrestle. I certainly enjoyed this match. Over the years, I've been more or less a Shelton Benjamin fan. And R-Truth, although I think R-Truth has been used as a mid-carder, like the stereotypical jobber for too long. And I think they need to give him a little bit more, because in 2020, when he and Carmella had paired up and were doing the different interview segments, the dance breaks, it was interesting. They were at least involved. and enjoyed seeing them at the Royal Rumble that year, 2019, going back an extra year. So that was fun. Anyway, all of these matches, for the most part, were really about 10 to 15 minutes, which was also nice. And winner of this match, well, that happened to be R-Truth. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
On we go with the rest of the evening here. The next match on the card is for the Raw Women's Championship. This being a triple threat for the title. Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Bayley versus Tamina. Okay. Which I believe is the first time Tamina has been at a show in Bismarck. Not 100% sure, but I don't recall her being at the other shows in the past that I've attended.
Yeah, I can't remember if she was at the one that I attended that you did not attend. Couldn't tell you. In this case, Kidder, I'm going to stick with Bianca Belair retaining the title and pinning Tamina. That's why it's a triple threat. That's why Tamina's in there.
Because you don't want to take the momentum away from Bayley, but you can't take away the title.
Exactly.
Very good thinking. Of course, I concur on the thought process. Bayley made her way to the ring first. Very funny because she, got some decent cheers and she was yelling at people in the audience. And of course, people were either cheering or booing her, and it didn't matter because she'd, do the whole heel thing and try and get some cheap heat. Tamina came out, and to me, this is a very odd time for Tamina, because the last time that we really saw her on TV was part of the 24/7 championship fiasco, where there were really four of them. Let's see. It would have been Tamina, of course, and my gosh, I'm making a blank. Reggie, the valet, and Dana Brooke, and the other guy that I'm trying to remember, who is kind of like a ninja and is definitely being underused.
Kurosawa?
Yes. I'm glad that you were able to peg that by the kind of like a ninja and definitely being underused. Yes. So it was really the four of them as the main focus of this storyline, where they individually got paired off, and then they got married, and then within 2 weeks they got divorced because whatever. And this was terrible storyline around the 24/7 championship. And R-Truth was actually the officiant for both the marriage ceremonies and the divorce ceremonies. That part was funny. But yes, the look that Howard Blues has on his face right now, that sums it up right there. It's kind of a that look, yes. So again, this match, as I was saying, very interesting time for Tamina, because is she a heel or is she a face? I don't even really know at this point after the match, because yeah, she was that third party to take the bullet to keep the storylines going the way they're going. This match with the triple threat. Had a lot of action into it. There were a few botches, which is, disappointing because from Tamina, you would expect a lot from being multi-generational talent to having been in the business for decades. But it just had some clunky moments through the match. There's a little bit of that, but we've seen on the pay-per-view, the premium live events. Wait, you haven't seen them. That I've seen on the premium live events. So, overall, it was still a good match. There was a lot of athleticism between Bianca Belair, as we've come to expect. Some pretty big spots of the high-risk maneuvers up onto the turnbuckles, superplex at one point. Very, very good still. Definitely, wasn't a terrible match. And just as you had mentioned, it turns out that, yes, Tamina was on the ground and got the pin, I believe, because that's what needed to happen. I'm just trying to go through my photos here as, you experience a lot of this, but there's just so much that happens, because at one point Bayley did get covered. So, in fact, it could have been Bayley who was pinned. Yeah. I didn't record that. Maybe next time I'll bring a notebook and really start taking notes. But then you'll have to come along. Keep me honest.
Maybe. We'll see. Depends when they come back.
Last time was 3 years ago. So, another 2 to 3 years. Probably. All right. Anticlimactic finish there for us talking about it. But Bianca is obviously still your Raw Women's Champion. The next match on the card. This is your main event of main event. This one features Seth freaking Rollins and the United States champion Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. Bobby Lashley's the choice from me.
Yeah, again, they're not going to change titles in Bismarck, North Dakota. So Bobby Lashley it is.
This one, very, very slow start. Seth Rollins was running his mouth and running around the ring, getting away from Bobby Lashley. They finally did get into the ring. They locked up, did a few matches, or moves, I should say, in the match, and separated. Small move, separate. It was very much kind of like the traditional hockey dump and chase. Like, let's go get something moving. Well, they start actually getting something moving. Lashley starts doing some moves to Rollins, and, well, Howie Blues at a live house show. We had a DraftKings screwy finish of the night. Austin Theory comes running out, smacks Lashley with the briefcase. Ding, 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 ding. That's the end of that. And the winner, of course, Bobby Lashley by disqualification. As the bell is ringing, well, who else comes running on out to the ring? Because, you know, Bobby Lashley's pissed and it's beating up both of them. Well, The Miz comes running out and starts beating up on Bobby Lashley. And Theory's there beating him up too. And he's got the briefcase and they're beating each other up. And Rollins is out there and now he's starting to beat up Lashley. And, well, who comes running out from the back but KO and Dolph Ziggler? They start beating the hell out of each other. So it's now the three of them who kick out the three who were previously in the ring, being heels. KO gets on the mic, showing off his microphone skills, calling them all tiny balls. The three of them having the world's smallest testicles. Thanks, KO. It was great. So they basically, KO calls them out, says, hey, get in here. If you want to prove that you don't have the world's smallest testicles, have a match with us. 3-on-3. Okay, they agree to it. So then, keeps on going. They do start the match, which was very good. They start, throwing each other back and forth around and trying to tag and this and that, etc., as we know, right? But when it all comes down to it, during the match, more screwy finish. Yes, another screwy finish of the night, thanks to DraftKings. Excuse me. Involving the briefcase. And they, the three of them, the heels, try to say that they're basically done, and because they lost. Okay, they got a quick pin by, if I remember correctly, it was KO. Pinned them real quick. They were going to leave. And basically, KO's like, no, you can't cheat and try and get out of this and that sort of thing. Get back in here. We'll finish this. No DQ. We'll keep it going. Okay. So then shit got real. They're going over here. They're going over there. They went out in the crowd this way. They went out in the crowd that way. They're beating the hell out of each other back and forth. The briefcase is over here. They're up onto the side. There's a low blow over here. And then suddenly the Miz is right in front of me. And I'm like, yeah, because he just got the, due to the ropes, he got the low blow on his tiny balls. And he's there holding them, and I'm like, Miz, it's okay. You get tiny balls, you got to stop faking. And then I said, because we basically shook hands as well, and I said, you should give this kid your shirt because he's got bigger balls than you do. And then he walked away and was finishing the match. So the heels end up at one point pulling a table. Austin Theory grabs a table. And of course, yeah, get the tables. Love it. They bring it into the ring and they set it up on its side. The traditional basic corner spot, right? So then Rollins comes into the middle. The faces, except for Bobby, are outside the ring. And Austin Theory, Miz, and Rollins are in the center of the ring, and Rollins does one of these. And then Theory, right in there too. And of course, Miz is like, and then yes, what does that signify? The Shield, of course, does that. And everybody starts booing and going nuts because, you don't have the Shield anymore. So they pick up, as in Theory and Miz, pick up Bobby Lashley to do the table spot that the Shield used to do. Now, if you remember, it was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins who would pick up the opponent onto their shoulders, and then Roman Reigns do the and then power bomb them through the table. So at this point, it's Rollins doing the power bomb, or at least attempting, because Theory and Miz get Lashley up, put him onto Rollins' shoulders. Lashley counters, gets out of it. Very nice. They end up blasting the two of them out of the way. And then, well, guess what? There's some super kicks that are shared. You got the stereo because Dolph Ziggler's now in there. And then they set it up where Theory gets put in front of the table after he got the super kicks. And then Bobby Lashley spear through the table. And, of course, Bobby Lashley grabs him. And 1, 2, 3 for the pin. And that is your Saturday night main event. Your champion, still, Bobby Lashley, United States champion, that is. So, 2 DraftKings screwy finishes of the night in one match.
Yeah, Peter, I maybe missed something because I'm trying to stay awake. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to be Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins in a street fight? Wasn't that
That's how it was advertised in a couple different places. Yep.
Because I'm just wondering how you have a DQ finish in a street fight.
Yep. Because that match didn't happen.
I see.
Yep.
That's the part I missed. Because I was kind of like that. I had heard that it was a street fight.
Yep.
In fact, my department director, when I saw him at the funeral today, had told me about, oh, yeah, apparently it's a street fight between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. Size that. And yeah, so, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least it sounds like it was an action-packed main event. So that's good.
Best match of the night. Hands down. Best match of the night. It was really, really good. Like I said, they paired off and they were going out through the crowd and on the floor on each side. You know, I razzed the Miz. It wasn't like the time I think you were there when Cody Rhodes was still Stardust and I was chanting something at him, screaming, and he jumped over 6 rows of chairs like he was going to attack me. That was good. But got to high five KO with one hand and shook the Miz's hand with my other hand and patted him on the back. And there's video evidence of both. Next time, Triple B goes on the road.
Yeah, sure. Maybe. No promises.
Well, one of these years, I'm hoping that we'll be able to get to WrestleMania. And then that'll be like a Triple B extravaganza.
Mm-hmm. Well,
said one of these years, not this year or next year.
Yeah. Well,
I'm giving you an out.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Well, Kidder, any last thoughts on the house show?
Interesting because, like I mentioned, the house shows are like the test bed for what WWE is planning on doing. So, programs between Austin Theory and KO, Seth Rollins for the U.S. title picture, Tamina somewhat being included with the women's championship. I mean, even as the token person to be able to get out without blowing the storyline. Still putting the pressure, or maybe not pressure is a good word, but putting the thought that Bayley can again become the women's champion of either brand, probably Raw, since she's feuding with Bianca. And of course, next weekend with Extreme Rules, it has we have a match. It is a match that will happen between Bianca and Bayley. So good out for both of them on that. Good to see R-Truth still employed and Shelton Benjamin. I mean, I would like to see Shelton Benjamin in either the Intercontinental picture again or the U.S. title picture again. I think that he would work well with Gunther or Bobby Lashley, especially with Shelton Benjamin potentially having unfinished business with being in the Hurt Locker and then being kicked out, or not the Hurt Locker, the Hurt Business. Movie versus a faction. It's late. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. I think a little training would be in order. That could help a little bit here and there too. Otherwise, overall, a good match. And next weekend again is WWE Extreme Rules in Philadelphia. So the night that WWE will go extreme for 2 matches.
That's how it goes.
No matter where you are, if you're watching this because you're a wrestling fan and you've made it this far in the video, number one, thank you. And if you haven't already, please like or subscribe. We appreciate that. But when WWE comes to your town, or AEW, either of them, or Impact, Ring of Honor, I don't care, any of them, when any of them come to your town, please go support it. Number one, because, you know, those people need to, I don't know, make some cash, help them help their families and whatnot. But just go experience a live wrestling event. It's a lot of fun in person, and I feel that this event tonight was better than any of the Raw and SmackDown episodes that I fast forwarded through in the past 5 months. There's not a whole lot of extra storyline that happens during those, which is probably why. But, it is the live event versus the televised event. You're more involved. You're more focused on just that. You've paid to be there versus just paying your television bill. So you get more out of it. And I'm happy that I went.
Good. And with that, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. Well, you've mostly been talking. I've mostly been sitting here trying to stay awake. And so, as is tradition on these wrestling shows, now's the chance for Kidder gets to rest his voice as Howard tries to wrap this up by delivering all of the cheap plugs. I say try, because sometimes I fail at this. Good. Let's start with this. You can start at our home in cyberspace, beerbluesbs.com. It's a well-made website, a tasteful, classy design, but you can find all of our contact information there. That's right. You can find the link to our Facebook page. Please join us there. Like, subscribe. Actually, you don't really subscribe on Facebook. See, that's the one I always mess up. Like, share. There we go. That's Facebook.
You can follow us.
Yeah, that too. That's a great spot to see what we're up to. And Kidder's been posting a lot of extra content on there lately, so worth the checking out. Yeah.
Hey, Instagram and auto posting to Facebook.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We are on Instagram. I can't tell you much more about that. I am not on the gram. That's right. Howard Blues has a hard limit on social media apps, and I've hit my limit. Yeah. So
one.
Exactly.
He's done.
With that, you can also find us on YouTube. YouTube's a great place. You can actually watch the version of the show that has our happy smiling faces. Although I will admit I really haven't smiled much this episode. Anyway, it's our happy smiley faces. You get a little bit of extra information. We have a fantastic editor. His name is Future Howard. He likes to put up all sorts of interesting things, comments, fun facts, shenanigans. It's a good time. So please make sure to like and subscribe so that you can catch all of this wonderful entertainment. If you're into audio podcasts, hey, that's how this show was meant to be listened to in the first place. And so for that reason, we are on all of the audio podcasting services out there. Pick your favorite one. iHeart, we're there. Stitcher, there. Amazon, sure. Spotify, yeah, we're there with some Killer Kidder show that's still existing in some, as a glorified playlist. Podchaser, we're there. Anywhere you want to find an audio podcast, you can find this show. Just always remember to search for Beer, Blues, and BS. With that, he's the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. I'm Howard Blues, reminding you all to keep that glass at least half full. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. At least half full.
Moderation is key.
If you make it till tomorrow, I hear there's possibly a good chance of free beer. And if you ever find yourself walking down an old dusty highway, you're probably on the Tuscan Highway, and you'll probably run into us.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good night, everybody.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty.